Today, we're going to be talking about mistakes, pitfalls, those common errors that business owners or small business, large business, medium business engage in. And this mistakes, these errors, these people actually think their business and they do not know it because, they feel it doesn't matter or it's just one tiny part of it. So that is what we're going to be learning today. So I want you to just drop it in the comments that emoji that class as I bring in our daddy Dr. Bolu. But before then, if you can, please just omit your mic since we are just here. So just omit your mic. Tell me your name. Tell us your name. Where you are joining us from, and probably your expectations. Very short, within 2-3 seconds, you are done.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. My name is 𝗪𝗀𝗵𝗳𝗶𝗄. So I'm joining from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. I have a BSc in accounting, and I'm currently the head of finance and admin in my organization. Thank you.
My name is 𝗖𝘀𝗵𝗀𝗁. I'm listening to you from Canada, Winnipeg, and my expectation is to improve my knowledge more on cash flow management. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is 𝗖𝘀𝗵𝗪𝗁𝗀𝗧𝗔. I am joining this program from Lagos, Nigeria. My expectations is to gain more knowledge to improve my small-scale business.
Good evening. My name is 𝗖𝘀𝗵𝗀𝗪𝗀 from Lagos. I'm a videographer, and I'm looking forward to learn more about business and better way to handle it well. Thank you.
Why is cash flow important? Why do you think about cash flow as what you need to do to keep your business running? Anyway, thank you, Tayo, for that brief introduction. You see, I want to liken cash flow to an example of a vehicle. You have a very wonderful vehicle, SUV or whatever type of vehicle, and there is no gas in it. I mean, no fuel, no petrol inside the gas or inside the car. Or you are driving on the way and the petrol just finished. What do? You are stranded. So it's the same thing with cash flow in an organization. Cash flow is what gives energy to the business to run. I know in business, we talk about the 4 Ps. We talk about product, we talk about price, we talk about places, then we talk about promotion. All this help help a business to run very well. But even when you have all these things in places, if you neglect your cash flow management, you may still run into trouble. Because when we talk about cash flow, fundamentally we are looking from 2 perspectives. It is actually cash inflow and cash outflow. And when you talk about cash inflow, you are talking about money that comes in from anywhere, from any source. It could be by what you contribute. It could be by something that somebody gave you. It could be by so many means of the money coming. Then you talk about cash outflow. That's the money that goes out. The money that goes out of the business is what we call cash outflow. So it's the combination of 2 that we call cash flow. So when you talk of cash flow, you are looking at it from 2 angles. From the angle of certain money is coming out, another money is going out. So that is the basis of cash flow. So when you understand this basic difference, it's very important for us to know that, okay, the money that comes to the organization, the money that goes out of the organization, how does it happen? So that is what you need to understand basically. And why is it important for a business running? Because without the money coming in or going out when it's supposed to go, you cannot sustain your business. There is no how you can sustain your business. So that is the major challenge that most organizations have. When you start your business, you inject your capital. You bring in money from wherever, either by somebody lending you money or somebody doing all sort of things for you. So that kind of situation, you are bringing the money to help the organization. So it's a kind of a loan to the business, because in law, actually, we recognize business as a different entity from the owner of the business. So that is when you register the business. Just like when you have a child and you give the child a kind of a name, so that you can distinguish the child from another person. So it is the same thing that the business is done. You give that child a name so that the child can, have his own or her own identity. It's the same thing your business is done. So when you bring in money from outside to run your business, so you are talking about cash flow inward, coming inward. Then when you spend money, maybe you pay for the rent or you pay for whatever, then that is cash outflow. So effective cash management is crucial for business success. There are three elements here. Say, for cash flow can help you weather economic storm. Again, like when you are driving and there is hold up on the way or go slow, if you don't have enough fuel in your car, you will be stuck. So you cannot go further. You either have to go and look for somebody to borrow you a jerrycan. You go to the filling station, and if there is no fuel, you look for a way to push the car and park it somewhere. It's the same thing with business. If you don't have this cash flow, you cannot weather the economic storm. Of course, again, when you start business, you want to grow. So, cash flow enables you to fund your growth. You want to expand your business. You don't want to remain stagnant in one point. At one spot. You want to move your business from one point to the other. So that is one thing that cash flow helps you to also achieve. Another thing that sometimes you have an opportunity. For instance, a business idea can just come, or somebody say, "Oh, there is this thing that they are selling quickly." Maybe somebody is disposing an item. I want to travel elsewhere, and this is a kind of item you deal with. So if you don't have immediate cash at that time, you will not be able to take charge of that opportunities. You see other people that who has money at that moment will be able to take advantage of that opportunity. Before we go further, I also want to let us know that even when your business is profitable, if you don't pay attention to cash flow, you can still run into trouble. Let me give you an example. For instance, you have a business and you make a profit of, let's say, 20,000. This 20,000 profit that you make, you have debtors. The money in the hand of your customers, 25,000. You make a profit of 20,000, you have people who are owing you 25,000. Apparently, and you are owing other people, your supplier, 7,000. Though you made profit, but you are in trouble. Because one, your profit is in the hand of the outsider. It's not in your pocket. It's not in the business. Number two, these people you are owing 7,000, if it's a corporate organization, they have the legal right to sue your business and wind up your company. So it is also very risky that you cannot meet your financial obligation as I went due. That your business is not running well, you are selling, but you are not getting your money. So those are the things that affect cash flow that you have to be very conscious and mindful of. You sold your goods to outsiders, but you have not collected money. It means your profit is outside. It's not with you. You may not be able to finance new purchases. You may not even enjoy, you might no longer enjoy credit facility from your supplier. So that is why you see a company that is seemingly doing well, that is selling the product at in hot demand, everybody is buying from them, but they cannot pay salary. And you begin to wonder why. Oh, and of course, typically in Nigeria, we say, oh, the managers are wicked. They are the one that is living great life, and they don't care for the staff and stuff like that. These are the fundamentals of cash flow. So you have to manage the cash that comes in to make sure that when you have the money, you don't fail to pay those you are owing. you have sufficient cash flow to meet your financial obligations. I won't want to go to too much theory. That's what we call acid test. Acid test in accounting is when the cash you have is it more than the amount you are owing. If you have cash at hand of, let's say, 1,000 and you are owing 2,000, that is a problem. It is actually recommended that if you have 1,000 at hand and you are owing 1,000, that will also leave you dry after you have met your obligation. So a quick asset ratio, we always recommend that at least let it be 2:1, which means your cash or convertible assets. Convertible assets are things you can equally convert to money. Maybe you have a bank deposit, you have some stock you can quickly sell. So we don't regard debt as part of convertible cash because you are at the mercy of the debtors to pay or not to pay. So when you have a ratio, which means your cash turn is ×2 of what you are owing. So if your obligation is due, it means you can meet that obligation because you have sufficient money to cover that obligation. And when you don't do that, apart from your creditors, they can seize your property, they can apply to court to wind up your business. That is why it is dangerous not to manage your cash flow. You can be making profit. Profitability and liquidity are not the same. We used to say in accounting, liquidity is the cash that you have. This is the cash at your disposal to be able to run the business from day to day, to be able to meet all your obligations. When you don't have sufficient cash to cover this, then that business will be in crisis. And of course, you don't want to remain on the same spot. You want your business to grow. So without sufficient cash at your disposal, you cannot grow your business. And again, opportunities come unannounced. Look at all what happened during COVID. Those who have cash can easily go and buy. In Nigeria, for instance, during some season, people will buy palm oil and stock them till when the palm oil become a bit more valuable or more expensive, then they will dispose it. So if you don't have cash at the time where this product is, available and is cheaper, you will not be able to take that advantage. Those who have money, they take that advantage. Also, they also have where to store them. Then they make more profit, in the future. So then let's go ahead. Yeah, what are the common mistakes that we make? Let me tell you another important factor in cash flow. The timing of cash flow is very important. What do I mean by this? So, like I said, the example I use, yes, you have your money. I mean, you made profit, but your profit is in the hand of your customers, meaning that the timing of the cash is creating problem because the money is not coming when it should come. So one major important that you always pay attention to in cash flow is the timing. Timing is very critical. If I said to you, and you are supposed to pay today and you pay next week, that could create problem for me. It could alter my plan. It could alter what I need to do. It could deny me of opportunities that I could have taken advantage of. So time is very important and very critical in cash flow management. So when you sell goods, you must ensure that you send your invoice immediately. So when you delay your invoicing, some organization, I've worked with some done business with some organization in Lagos, they pay you 2 weeks after you submit your invoice. So if you delay your invoice, it means your payment will be delayed. So when you delay invoice, it slows down payment. It means it delayed the timing the cash comes into your pocket. And when this happens, you have shortage of cash. So you now have challenges to meet your obligations. Remember, you are the mercy of your creditors. If you don't pay your creditor as and when due, they have authority over you. They have legal right over you. Meanwhile, when you settle to your debtors, well, if it is corporate organization, you will have the right to sue them. Of course, litigation takes a lot of time. But if you sell to individuals who are bankrupt or who cannot pay, if you take them to police station or take them to court, they will only ask them to write undertakings on when they will pay. They will be able to pay. So, because what the court will look at is, okay, is he able to pay? Does he have the capacity to pay? Is he willing to pay? And when you are signing on a debtor, these are three factors you also have to consider. If somebody asks you to extend credit to him or her, you have to ask yourself, oh, is this guy capable, or is this business capable to pay? Would they be willing to pay? And willingness is not something you can determine by looking at the person. You determine that by your relationship with the person over a period of time. So is that your relationship that will determine, oh, this person is a good payment? For instance, people that do book me down, you will know those when they pay them salary, they will start avoiding you. They will be taking another route to their house so that you cannot challenge them that the month has ended, you have received salary. Why are you not paying your debt? So those are the kind of thing that you pay close attention to. This person that is asking me to give him credit, is he capable of paying? Will he be willing to pay? And sometimes, again, you don't start extending credit to people until you have done business with them for a period of time and you have a kind of understanding about who they are in terms of their disposition to certain things. So when you send your invoice immediately after completing your work, it keeps the cash flowing. It doesn't stop there. When you even send the invoice, you have to pursue it. You don't assume that, oh, every debtor is a righteous person, is a God-fearing person. When they are owing, they will pay. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to have a credit policy, the total amount of credit you want to give. If you are selling so amount, the percentage of your sales that you want to be on credit, the percentage you want to be on cash. Let me also say that even when you are selling completely on cash and you are not selling on credit, you can still face cash flow challenges, especially when you don't separate the owner's money from the business money. Because you are just in the cash, you just keep on spending it. There are people who spend money on things that does not affect the business. So this can lead to some delay. For example, when you start delay paying your staff salary because the cash is not coming in or the cash is too much, you are spending it on things that you don't need. You can buy what you don't need, and of course, when cash is flowing around, it may attract some level of stealing. People start stealing the money. Then you begin to have cash shortfall. And when you don't pay salary on time, again, people will start stealing your product. When they steal your product, you are losing money from that product. There's opportunity cost that is lost, by that stealing. Just because you don't manage your cash flow very well, you delay salary, people become restless, people become angry, and they now begin to steal your product or will begin to damage your goods. If they cannot steal it, they begin to damage your product. So your cost of production will now increase. That will also eventually reduce your profit. And when over time you begin to narrow down your profit, it gets to time that your business may no longer be profitable. Then you start having a lot of staff turnover. Then you secure more money on training new staff over and over again. So there are so many complications when you don't manage your cash flow. Again, let me say, since we have just a short time today, that the fundamental principle you must not neglect in cash flow is that you must keep good record. But that is the starting point. You must know which money comes in, when the money comes in. You must keep record of your obligations to third party. You buy goods on credit from your suppliers. You must understand the seasonal variation in your business. When I mean seasonal variation, I'm not even talking about within a year. Even some businesses, there are some seasonal variation in a day. You have to study and document this. For instance, you have a provision store. In the morning, maybe when children are going to school, they come to buy biscuit, they come to buy a lollipop and all those things. In the afternoon, some people now, okay, liberal, they come to buy bread with Pepsi, they come to buy noodles to cook. Then in the evening, people come to buy maybe semovita, buy custard, buy granite oil, and all those things. You have to understand all this pattern, because when you study this pattern, you document them, it enables you to know how to even replenish your stock. So when you can probably leave the store to go and maybe to go and buy more goods. So all these patterns you must study. You have to understand, okay, which means you make more money in the evening. For instance, just this one is an example, which means it also means that for you to continue to make more money, you have to be available at the evening, because that is when you have more traffic, you have more velocity for your business. So you have to understand all this, but you must keep good record. You can't manage cash flow if you don't keep good record, because you will just see money and you'll be spending it. If you give invoice and you give them a credit of 2 weeks, you have to be able to monitor it, that at the end of or before the 2 weeks, you remind the person, a friendly reminder, 2 days, your payment is due in the next 2 days. Then you have to do a follow-up to collect the money. Again, I must also let you know that in most instances, when you sell good on credit, you don't collect your money back 100%. There are some cases where you may not even get more than 50% of those debtors. There are sometimes, if depending on the industry, depending on your own effort, you may get up to 80%. Because, for instance, if you sell to somebody and like we say in Nigeria, God forbid, the person is dead, it will not, and there's no document. You can't even force the family to pay you, because there is no record that the person is owing you. Or if the company collapses, if you are not a secure creditor, you may not be able to get any money in the business. Those are the fundamentals of cash flow. Why it is the lifeblood of a business. It is the life fire of a business, and you have to understand how it is run. If you have shortfall of cash flow, it will deny you opportunity to grow. And when you beginning to shrink over time, that may eventually lead to the collapse of the business. Let me also talk just on one more slide before we ramp up. So mistake number one, we just look at this one. When you don't invoice timely, if you don't send your invoice timely and not able to monitor payments, it will create problem. Sending invoice promptly after completing work is very important. And of course, you have to pursue that to ensure that you get timely payment. Don't delay. When you delay, it leads to cash flow issues. Sometimes it will lead to strained client relationships. When you now have delay and you now become desperate, it could lead to bad blood. It could generate bad blood between you and your clients. And you need the customer to continue to remain in business. It's very important. So cash flow management also affects your customer relations. So you have to pay very close attention to that. Then you have to establish clear payment terms. Communicate very well from the beginning. Oh, I can give you facility for 2 weeks. I can give you facility only for so amount of money. I won't do beyond that. Then you must do follow-up, regular follow-up. Don't assume that, because the person has agreed we pay you in 3 weeks, without a follow-up, the person will pay. Some will do, but most will not. Most will not bother. If you don't remind them that, your payment is due, even if they have a surplus cash in their hand, they want to quickly turn it over. They want to quickly use it to run business before you come calling. So that's why it is very important to do a thorough follow-up. Make sure you follow up that. Because again, there is the danger that every debt can go bad if you don't pursue it on time. That's very, very critical to cash flow management. Consistency is very important in improving your cash flow. You're consistent and on-time invoicing. I know some small businesses, they don't issue invoice, they just write a notebook, book me down. Yes, if you book me down, you have to say, okay, write in front of it, 2 weeks due. Put the date, not just write, you put the date. That will enable you to monitor it. Okay, this guy collected these goods on the 1st of August, and he asked me for 2 weeks. which means by 15th of August, it should pay. So from 12, you start sending a friendly reminder to the person so that it doesn't forget the date. Because when you don't have this money in your pocket, even when you have made profit, you cannot meet your financial obligations because you are owing other people too, including those working with you, their salaries. If you keep on delaying staff salary and think that they should understand, remember you are the business owner. It's you that invited them to come and work with you or work for you. So that body of entrepreneurship does not belong to your workers. The workers has come to supply you labor, and they are expecting that you pay them at the end of a period, depending on your agreement. So that you are selling and they are not paying you, it's not so much their concern. I mean, I'm not trying to be insensitive here, but that's the fact of this case. So then again, when you have surplus cash, you can invest in that business to grow. This is where the challenges come to many of our people. That's a cultural thing. There are some of us, when we see this money, we're going to begin to buy what we don't need. We want to change our cars, we want to change our home, we want to move from mainland to Lekki, we want to go and buy a house in Banana Island, sinking fund on things, on houses, on fixed assets that may not help the business to grow. So those are the kind of things we need to pay attention to. So I think this is where I will want to pause now. I don't want to take much of your time.